All right, looks like we are live. Good morning, Ellen Ingalls here at pressure-free.com. For some people, it's the start of a long weekend in it's not really celebration, in recognition of Memorial Day. I think I put it that way. And so you might be camping, watching this. You might be going to visit relatives, friends for the weekend. But welcome to this little show. I am the creator of the Pressure Free Method. It's an on-the-go stress management method that I teach to individuals, to corporate trainings, and speak at conferences and conventions. So if you know anyone who needs some help in the area of stress, anxiety, um, just wanting to perform at a higher level. By perform, I don't mean how do I state that? Like by perform, I mean like how we do life. So not performative, but like how we do life. Are we doing it elegantly and with incredible energy? And are you energetic? Do you feel good? I guess is the bottom line. Do you feel optimal? So pushing buttons. It's like we have a whole bunch of buttons here on our chests. And for some reason, I think that we all have a little built-in mean streak. There's mean girls, there's mean boys, there's bullies, there's the excess of that. But I see people who are really quite nice able to push other people's buttons. I remember one time when a client said to me, she just knows how to push all my buttons. I thought, okay, I've heard that many times. What do we mean by it? And she just knows how to push my buttons. Thought, okay, so if we're reacting to the button pushing, then we're the ones that actually have the choice, right? The button gets pushed. What do we do? If you're already in fight or flight, you're probably already overreacting to the button push. And what exactly is being pushed? Like what's happening? They're touching a nerve. That's the other way I've heard clients say it. It's like certain things at work just touch a nerve with me, or certain things in politics just make me go off the deep end. So there's something that's causing a reaction, some stimulus. First step is to identify that. I know in some families it can just be the tone of voice. The tone of voice. And it could be an overly calm tone of voice that could be pushing the button. Like, we should be upset here, and this person's staying calm, right? That can push a button. So if you really take some time, one of my clients said, I have lots of buttons. Like one of my buttons is the money button. So any conversation about money usually causes them to trigger the stress response. So is there a particular subject on one of these buttons on your chest that if someone starts to talk about it, then there's things. I live here in the Midwest. The data center button is pretty big on me right now. It just is. Um, it is. I'm not a fan of people collecting my data. I'm not a fan of people using it. I know that AI has collected thousands of pages on me. It's taken all my books. Like, do I own it? Do I even own the copyright of my book anymore? Like, it's just taken everything. So I'm not really sure where this is all headed, but that's a button for me. So if someone starts talking about that, I can feel myself trigger the stress response. I've got to be really, really careful about that right now. So money, political subjects, things going on in the world that we can't control, um, tone of voice from how the person's talking to you. If there's an element of judgment in the voice or criticism, about even a household chore, did you put that away? And there's like this little bit of tightness in the voice that can cause a reaction. That can be a button pushed. Um, how people drive. I still can't believe this one, but I was coaching a client. He was fairly young. He was in middle school, but he had a special dispensation. He was actually running um, varsity as a runner. And one of my former clients was responsible to take him home after school. And apparently he would like in the parking lot kind of jerk the steering wheel, like throw, throw things a little chaotic, which was a trigger for my younger client. I had a little talk. Like, listen, don't purposefully trigger this kid. He needs to rest after this workout. He doesn't need to trigger his stress response and not get to sleep tonight. But that was a button push that was like, it was kind of fun, right? So this little mean streak has a little bit of, oh, this is kind of fun. It's like teasing, na 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 na. That's a little chant that is worldwide. This and that I think is linked to a little bit of mean spiritedness in that we all have a little bit of. And so I think it takes it takes some maturity to say, okay, is something I'm doing pushing someone else's buttons? Am I doing it because I'm already triggered on a subject or a situation? Like, let's untangle it. I love saying it's like we get a piece of gum in our hair and we gotta like take one little strand out at a time. We gotta untangle what is really going on here with this button pushing. And why am I allowing it to cause me to trigger the stress response? Really getting to those deep answers, it's going to save you because every time we overreact, we release those hormones and they mess us up. So it's like, okay, kind of like planting a stake in the ground and saying, I'm worth more. Another way of it, like putting a stake in the ground and also like turning the key deep inside our hearts and saying, I deserve a beautiful life. I was working with a client the other night who has been exploring giving herself permission to have a beautiful day, giving herself permission to enjoy time without constantly worrying about something at work, constantly worrying about something in her personal life. Like we can create all this fictitious worry. I talked about that yesterday on my show, negative fake worry. And so that can be one of the reasons why we experience this button pushing. It's because it has some sort of consequence to us, especially if it's around money, love, health, the three big ones. If you ask people to write down their goals and dreams and visions for themselves, they usually revolve around those three things. They want more money so they can travel. There's something around money. They want to be able to travel or build their dream home or, what is it that we really want? Health and then love. So that might, as we do this untangling about what's causing these buttons to be pushed, it could be hitting on some of those things. Could be hitting on human rights. It could be hitting on things that are on our Bill of Rights here in the United States. Um, I was coaching a workshop for a junior chamber of commerce, and when I asked about what people thought their triggers might be, one fellow raised his hand and said, um, anything that's unjust. When he sees something that's unjust, it's definitely a trigger for him. So your values, your core values, can also be determining what are those hot buttons for you. One of my core values growing up in New Hampshire with old-timey New England parents who went through the Depression is frugality. So when I see waste, that's like a thing for me. When I was trying to create a company, I almost wanted to create a company that would go to restaurants and help prevent waste because I see so much food wasted. Always they serve too many fries. Very few people eat all of those fries. Like, why are we serving such huge portions? Like those things would go through my head. And so whenever I see any sort of waste going on, anything that's a poor use of resources. It's going to sound funny, but I remember reading once that the Romans got it wrong when they decided to use water for human waste. The most precious commodity on our planet is fresh water. Fresh air, fresh water. We need those two things. And so to actually use it for waste was just so um, such a wrong thinking in my mind. Like, why are we wasting a precious resource? So that's a hot button for me. Those things are hot buttons. Discovering what your hot button is first, and then how do you not overreact? If someone likes to push your buttons, but you stop overreacting to that, eventually they stop pushing. I saw this in my own family because I stopped reacting to certain things. And this is my birth family. When I grew up, I stopped reacting to certain things, and the people that were pushing my buttons just stopped because the button was gone. It's like I took it off my chest. Like you can't poke me that way anymore, you know. Um, Speaking of poking, it could be things physical, like, you know, slug bug. Did you ever get hit in the arm because somebody saw a Volkswagen bug while you're in the car with your family? Or being tickled, hated being tickled. Um, so some physical things too, maybe triggers for you. Um, one of there's so many stories about like bullying where I saw a kid being kicked as he's going up the stairs in school, another kid kicking behind his knee so that he would collapse on the stairs. Like so much mean behavior. You just have to spend some time around groups of people to see it. And but maybe it's happening in your own house or your own relationship, at work. There's I don't know, how would I say it? Is it some sort of a survival of the fittest? Um, there's that expression, don't kick somebody when they're down, but I will see people kick others when they're down. Like really just jump on the bandwagon without a lot of understanding. Is that little mean-spirited streak in us? I truly believe that if you can refrain from triggering the stress response, there will be less of that because you won't feel a need to fight or be aggressive or beat other people. You're going to be much more in self-control, self-aware, and actually feeling good about yourself. So you don't really need to put someone else down or be condescending. Does that make any sense? Like, I've noticed for myself, there were things that I was just really, really judgy about. And the more pressure free I become, just the less judgmental I am about those things. Um, and much more open. Now there's some topics that are still real hot buttons for me. So understanding what your buttons are, noticing who pushes the buttons, right? And very gently staying pressure free. Keep those abs relaxed. Open this part of your body. Don't tighten because that's going to cause you to be right on edge to trigger fight or flight, but instead open up like I can take it. Come at me, right? By the way, if you get your glutes back, like I teach in the H's, if you get those glutes back, now you have your own back. You feel strong because those big glute muscles have two purposes: to propel us forward and to support our back, to support our lower back. So if you have back issues, you're probably sitting on your butt too much, and you need to get those glute muscles back so you have a nice lumbar curve. Easiest way to see how you're sitting is supporting or not supporting you. Just feel back where your lumbar is. Do you feel the indentation? Do you feel that? Like it's really quite pronounced, but go ahead and sit on your butt and that smooths out, flattens. So that curve and your cervical curve in your neck, those are your curves of life. I was coaching some middle school track athletes in pressure free, not as their middle school coach anymore, but I came in and did a special session. And there was one little boy that years later goes, "Oh, you're the curves of life lady." I love it. Yeah, let's be in our curves of life. Let's light up from the inside, and then our buttons can't be pushed so much. So I wish you a great pressure-free day, and I hope this was helpful to you. If you need some help, please DM me or just go right to my website, lingalls.com, push that book a call button, and we can go deeper. And yeah, or pop on, get one of my books, The Pressure Free CEO and Pressure Free Parenting. Have a great day. Bye.